Here we are a couple weeks removed from the announcement, the very first trailer from Rachel Zegler's Snow White reboot, and I know I'm still buzzing about it. I'm looking forward to late March when that thing eventually does come around and we get to see those CGI monstrosity dwarves and Rachel Zegler with her Lord Farquaad haircut and Gal Gadot chewing on, I don't know, her fingernails. I would say curtains, but she's not enough of an actress to even warrant that type of mediocre praise. But I would imagine between now and then we're still going to have a fair amount of controversy, mostly because Rachel Zegler, well, she has a reputation in the industry, something that's being pointed out here that we've talked about before, when she was talking about the 120 million people that checked out the trailer and then just couldn't help herself by getting a little bit political at the end. She took the high road, but just couldn't resist from stopping over and dunking her head in the mud. Like, what an absolute brainlet. But this is, of course, the knock-on effect of somebody who was just raised and she wasn't quite as pretty, quite as attractive as she wanted to be. But now that she's in the rooms with people that just want to give her the benefit of the doubt, that just want to tell her how wonderful and great and fantastic she is because she checks the requisite number of boxes, that she has got the seal of approval from Steven Spielberg, and now she's talking and people are telling her that she's great and that she's so insightful, that she's wonderful, and then she keeps talking and then people keep on reinforcing her bad habits, and then she looks around and it's, oh my god, everybody's paying attention to me, and then she starts running off at the mouth like the vapid idiot that she is. Like I said before, I generally agree with the second part of her tweet for reasons that I've laid out before, but I also know that there's a time and a place to have those discussions, and to tack it on to the promotion of a film that has nothing to do with politics, you're a silly person. Why would you do that? Why would you tank all the productions that you're a part of? Because you take a look at her resume and it's nothing but failures. You need to catch a W, otherwise you're going to end up like Amanda Seyfried. Okay, the it girl who turned into the shit girl in record time because everything that she was attached with should have been drop-kicked out of the Enola Gay. White star Rachel Zegler derails remake's ad campaign with another woke outburst after branding experts warned her antics may trigger a boycott. You don't say, because you already had the people looking into what she was saying in her interviews back from 2022, and then all of her antics leading up to and including the announcement that the Snow White remake would be getting pushed back. Everybody looking at her and going, wow, she's kind of a tumor on all of her projects, because yeah, she got the start where she got the nod from Steven Spielberg with West Side Story. That was a flop. That was a bomb. That was one of those films that was coming out in Hollywood. All of the insiders were saying, well, you know what, actually, maybe the cinemas aren't coming back because, then not even Spielberg can get a real win across. We're just coming into the new normal. What came out a week later? All right, a little film called Spider-Man No Way Home, and it did how many hundreds of millions of dollars? All right, it broke $1 billion. Rachel Zegler, yeah, failed hard out of the blocks. And then followed that up with what? Shazam 2? Yeah, who even remembers that one came out? But it was the biggest flop for DC in a year of flops, especially when it comes to sequels. And then most recently, yeah, she was given another franchise to ruin in the Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and it was the lowest grossing Hunger Games film by a long shot, and it lost money. She's a tumor on every project she's attached to, and if you think Snow White, which has now gone back for reshoots, rewrites, is going to be reshot again, do you think that this thing is going to cost anything less than $200 million? It might be lucky to get that much this March with all the bad will associated with this, but hey man, keep on digging your own grave, your career's grave, because I need some good comedy every now and again. A White remake star Rachel Zegler has triggered another storm of controversy while promoting the long-delayed Disney film. The 23-year-old has reportedly sparked anger with her woke views, waded into the Israeli-Palestine conflict on X while promoting a blockbuster movie, despite branding experts warning that such antics could trigger a boycott. Yeah, that's the thing, man. If that's not your deal, if that's not something that you have a lot of information on, don't talk about it. You're an actress. Shut up and act. The only thing that you're going to do is drive off the normies who might have brought their kids to this tripe. Because here's the thing. Most of these live action remakes suck a weather balloon full of dicks. They're atrociously written. The CGI never looks convincing, but they make a hell of a lot of money. I don't quite understand it, but it's going to be interesting to see, because what did the Little Mermaid live action, did it end up breaking even at the box office. I think that might have been the high water mark, no pun intended for it there. And then, of course, at the end of this year, you're going to have Mufasa, which is going to be very interesting as a lead-in for Snow White. And that could be the first one. That is a certifiable bomb because nobody's looking forward to that. And it doesn't even have anywhere near the same amount of controversy that Rachel Zegler has. It'll be interesting to see. The New Jersey native took to X on August 12th, 2 days after posting the trailer. Yes, to reply to her own post by saying, "And always remember, free Palestine." But that was after, "Oh, I'd like to thank the fans. The 120 million views that we got on the trailer within the first day. That's amazing." The teaser trailer shows Zegler as the titular princess, the controversial CGI Seven Dwarfs and Israeli actress. Yes, Gal Gadot, 39, is the iconic evil queen. And it's interesting, I've heard some people point out, it's like that evil queen, even just a couple of lines that we heard, doesn't really sound like Gal Gadot. So is somebody ADRing her voice? Because that would be hilarious. It's like, yeah, okay. You want a vain evil queen. I mean, you know, you couldn't pick anybody better for the role. When it comes to acting, oh, yeah, unfortunately you can't CGI in some talent. Some Israeli publications have taken exception to Zegler's comments and suggested she's insulted Gadot, even though there is no suggestion of any tension between the two leading ladies. Yeah, because you remember all of the clips that Zegler got famous off of in all of those interviews, who was sat right next to her, and they seemed awfully chummy, and she was still barking up that same feminist tree. She's not going to be saved by the prince. Gal Gadot is just as much of an idiot. She's just on the other side of this conflict. Disney has tried to move away from the hot button issue after finding itself mired in a series of woke controversies blamed for tanking its share price. But that's such a long ways away at this point in time, right? Like, we got so much to look forward to when it comes to the Snow White remake, okay? Looking at her and, you know, not seeing the red ribbon on her hair, probably because, I don't know, maybe that's the patriarchy dog whistle or something like that. Who knows? And she's still going to have access to her Twitter account, so there's going to be many other stupid things that she's going to be talking about. And who knows? Maybe Gal Gadot will come out and say, "I don't really care, bomb another hospital. Israel has a right to defend itself." But I don't know what she's going to be doing in the near future, and frankly, I don't care. But Rachel Zegler is going to have another release on the horizon, and to be completely honest, well, it's kind of a borked premise if we're going to keep it 100, but these are the type of films that normally actresses would use to cut their teeth on to begin with before they went off to bigger and better things. A24, a well-regarded studio for whatever reason, except for their reputation, got quite a bit of a hit earlier this year with the stupid Civil War movie. But here's another low-budget film that's coming out towards the end of the year to, I guess, reminisce on the 24th anniversary of Y2K. Okay, interesting strategy on that one, but it's going to be low budget. Looks like a goofy, campy horror film, and to be completely honest, these are the type of films that Zegler should be in right now. She's 23. She's obviously in way over her head when it comes to high-budget franchise films. She can't carry anything. Her performances are always atrocious, and yeah, she's a decent singer. You can find decent singers on The Voice or X Factor. I don't know what shows. Is American Idol still on? There are a dime a dozen out there. She's going to be in this Y2K film, which, yeah, is a spoof on the hysteria, the lead up to, you know, New Year's Eve 2000. And this looks like a role that's far more befitting of her station. Rachel Zegler faces a homicidal Tamagotchi and more sentient machines in the A24 apocalyptic comedy. Yeah, there was planes that ended up, you know, hitting each other mid-flight, which everybody was scared of. I was 9 at the time. Well, I guess... Yeah, I would have been 9. I don't remember much of Y2K. I remember the hysteria around it, especially, you know, being pumped out by mass media. Nothing ultimately ended up happening. But there were preppers that were out there, you know, buying their bottled water, making sure that their bomb shelters were well stocked. So yeah, this could theoretically be funny, and maybe it'll be the first time that Zegler's appropriately cast for a role as just an airheaded teenager. A24 has released an official trailer for the apocalyptic comedy Y2K starring Jaden Martell and Rachel Zegler and Julian Dennison. I don't know who most of those people are. On the last night of 1999, two high school juniors crash a New Year's Eve party only to find themselves fighting for their lives in this dial-up disaster comedy. Get it? Dial-up internet. Trailer shows several homicidal machines in Y2K, including a Tamagotchi drilling a hole in someone's head. A hole. W-H-O-L-E. Makes sense. A VHS player hurling tapes at high school students, and a pink toy Jeep lighting someone on fire. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of campy stuff that's in there, and I would play the trailer, but there's a lot of gore in it as well, okay, and some fat bong rips and Fred Durst coming out. Yeah, Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst. Anyways, Y2K marks Saturday Night Live veteran Kyle Mooney's directorial debut. Mooney directed the sci-fi comedy, and the script he co-wrote with Evan Winter, while Jonah Hill served as a producer on the film. Oh, it makes sense. Jonah Hill, a producer. Variety's chief film critic, Owen Gleiberman, of course, wrote in his review, Y2K is swimming in succulent period references and detail. A scuzzy local DVD store, a CD mixtape, Pam and Tommy tape. Oh, right. Abercrombie, white kids doing their white version of freestyling, Praise You, and Tub Thumpin'. Not to mention the last fading version of the mythical figure, the video store clerk. So yeah, a bunch of member berries for millennials, I guess. But you know what? It's going to be lower budget. Knows exactly what it is. It might be good at the end of the day. This might be the first thing that Rachel Zegler can look back on her resume and go, hey, you know what? That actually turned a profit. But who knows? There's a lot of time between now and December 6th when this thing drops where she could say something incredibly stupid about this. Something about how Y2K was threatening the validity of technology and ended up firing off this certain demographic space lasers. Who knows, man? She's liable to say something ridiculous. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.